step back and check the bed, make sure there's no blood or anything splattered somewhere.
You start and do the top first and then go on the side?
Top, then the sides. If it was a regular bed, we can lift it up, but this one is so heavy, they advise us not to lift it up. So
See, it's the difference between sort of doing it and doing it really well.
Well, yes.
Some of those infections can be related to cleaning. And the better you clean, at least the less risk there is. That's why you do all the things you're talking about. Now, when it is an isolation room, then how would you handle that differently?
Everything, isolation or not, you wipe everything off. Just make sure you always high dust first. Because that ceiling has some like sticky. You try not to even get the dust on there. Now, I forgot about this bathroom right here, so make sure.
I had a feeling. I always enjoy learning about different parts of the organization that I didn't know as much about. What I liked is you get to know someone, and so that was great. But I also started to realize how complex each of the jobs are around here. They're not simple. And there's a process that's really important that maybe many of us could generally describe, but when you actually do it and you see how much time it takes, they're not simple. These are hard jobs, and it's really very impressive, the kind of people we have that do them every day. There is something different about doing jobs in the organization and being seen in a different setting. So there's no question. I was in an elevator with some people and said hello, and like others have noticed, people didn't expect the hello to come from where I was. And I don't think it was anything personal about it. They just certainly didn't recognize me, so they thought, this must not, who's this person here? So I think there was part of that, but I think there's a tremendous joy, I think, with anybody who has any interest in leadership in an organization. What you most want is to be able to feel as if you're connecting with people. And this is a great opportunity to do that, and that this is sort of being serious about the fact that you really want to understand more about what it's like to work in an organization. What's interesting is that if normally there's about 45 minutes to clean a room is kind of the expected, except if there's some special things going on in that room. And there's obviously a process to follow. This is a person who's been an employee here over 20 years. And what was clear to me as she talked me through the process of cleaning a room is that she doesn't cut any corners at all. She does this extremely well. I, of course, slowed her down in her process, but she was tremendous, really tremendous.
Wonderful.
There are probably 2 or 3 things I would say to someone who's wondering about this, is that people all the time try to get feedback from people who work in the organization, either in their area or more broadly, on what's working, what's not, what is a dissatisfier. Often we use questionnaires or other things, which are fine, and they're broad instruments to get some information. But there's nothing like sitting down with people more personally and finding out more. And I know that it wasn't just me, but others who did this asked questions about what are your opportunities to move up in the organization, and how do you like this job, and what might be changed to make it better. And while certainly just meeting with 1 or 2 or 5 people in the course of a year doesn't necessarily mean that they speak for everyone, but it does provide another much more personal way to get some direct input. I think the second thing is that as we try to get ideas to be the organization that really has the best experience for the people who work here, as well as the people who either study here or get their care here, usually the best next idea is going to come from people who are right on the front line. And they need to feel comfortable making those suggestions. And by people in any kind of management or any other area, working with them in a way that people get to know each other better, if we do it well, then we're going to, I think, more correctly empower people to raise their hand with suggestions, because certainly Ms. Christian had several suggestions of what might be done differently, and those are invaluable. And I think finally it does get back to what we're trying to do with the values of the organization. And there's a lot of ways to demonstrate that we understand the organization has values and a mission, but not only understanding it, we're trying to live it. And it's pretty hard to live it in isolation from others who work in the organization. Well, he can do that.